The old road hadn't seen a car in hours. Leaves rustled in the heavy wind, and somewhere in the distance, thunder cracked across the sky. Rain was coming. Fast. A rusted collar jingled with every limping step the dog took along the overgrown trail. He was thin, too thin. His ribs pressed against patchy, dirt-streaked fur. But there was a fire in his eyes, a wild kind of courage that no abandonment could extinguish. His name, once lovingly whispered by someone, had long faded from memory. But he hadn't forgotten loyalty. And right now, his loyalty was dragging him through the forest in search of the only friend he had left. Her name was Luna, a white-furred pup with a limp ear and a laugh that echoed through the fields when they used to play. They were strays, both of them. Dumped. Forgotten. But not broken. A few days ago, Luna hadn't come back to their den under the broken barn. The dog waited. A day. Then another. Hunger gnawed at him, but worry bit deeper. He had sniffed every inch of the farmland, tracking her scent with desperate eyes and trembling legs. And now, with the rain looming, he caught something, faint but real. Luna's scent, mixed with fear. He broke into a weak run, pushing past brambles and branches. Every step was agony, but his mind screamed only one word: find her. Down by the edge of the riverbank, something shifted. A soft cry. Not human. Not bird. He darted toward the sound, heart thudding louder than the thunder above. And there she was. Luna, trapped beneath a pile of logs, her leg twisted unnaturally. Her eyes lit up the moment she saw him, a choked whimper escaping her throat. "Buddy, you came," her eyes seemed to say. He rushed to her side, licking her face, whining, pawing at the logs. But the wood was heavy. Too heavy for a single dog to move. Luna whimpered again, her body trembling. And then the hair on the back of his neck rose. A hiss. Low. Sinister. Slithering. Out from behind a rock, coiled and ready to strike, came a rattlesnake. Its eyes locked on Luna's weak form, tongue flicking in the humid air. Time slowed. He could have run. No one would have blamed him. But he didn't. The dog stood between the snake and his friend. Growling. Barking. His own body shaking, but his stance unwavering. The snake lunged. He jumped. Teeth and fangs met in a blur of fur and scales. The dog howled as the fangs sank into his shoulder, but he didn't let go. He clamped down with everything he had, until the snake finally stilled. Blood mixed with mud. His legs buckled. Pain shot through him like fire. Luna whimpered louder, licking his face now, as if trying to pull him back, as if begging him not to fade. And somehow, with what little strength he had left, the dog nudged the logs one by one. His body ached, but he didn't stop until Luna was free. She stumbled to his side, curled into him, shivering. Rain began to fall. Cold, steady, and merciless. In the distance, a light appeared. Headlights. A voice shouted, "Over here. I see something." Boots splashed through puddles as rescuers rushed toward the broken bodies beneath the trees. One man knelt beside them. Dear God, they saved each other. As hands lifted Luna gently and wrapped the dog in a warm blanket, the world blurred in his eyes. But before sleep claimed him, he looked up at the sky one last time and knew. He didn't run. He fought. And she was safe. To be continued. Warmth. That's the first thing he felt. Not the cold mud beneath him. Not the pain in his shoulder. Just the warm, dry blanket wrapped gently around his body. The dog opened his eyes slowly. Fluorescent lights buzzed above him. He tried to sit up, but his body refused. His shoulder throbbed. The venom had taken its toll. But he was alive. A soft whimper came from the crate beside him. Luna. Her head was bandaged, and one leg was in a tiny splint, but her tail thumped the moment she saw him. He tried to wag his tail in return, but could only manage a weak lift. Still, it was enough. She pressed her nose to the crate's metal bars, and he pressed back. They were together. And safe. The voices of humans filled the air, soft, concerned, hopeful. "We found them just in time," one woman said. "The bigger one must have fought off the snake," another murmured, checking his vitals. The vet gently rubbed the dog's head. "You're a brave boy, aren't you?" He didn't understand the words. But he felt them. And for the first time in so long, the touch wasn't cruel. It wasn't followed by being kicked or driven away. It was kind. Outside, the storm had passed, but the shelter was still buzzing with rescues from the rain. Most animals huddled in fear. But not him. Not Luna. They had faced worse. Over the next few days, the dog, now called Bear by the rescuers, began to heal. Slowly. He was still weak, and the venom had left his walk with a wobble, but he stood taller each day. Luna recovered faster. Her spirit never broke. And she rarely left Bear's side, even licking the scar on his shoulder as if to remind him he wasn't alone anymore. Volunteers watched them with awe. They won't leave each other, one teen girl laughed. It's like they're siblings. Or something deeper. The staff took photos, shared their story online, and something incredible happened. The story of the dog who fought a snake to save his friend went viral. People from all over the world began to send messages. This broke my heart. Such bravery in an animal. It's something most humans wouldn't do. Please let me adopt them. I have a big yard, love, everything they need. But the shelter hesitated. Because Bear and Luna didn't need a house. They needed a home. Together. And then, on a quiet morning, a man walked through the doors of the shelter. Tall, gray-haired, kind eyes. He carried a worn photograph in his hand. A picture of a younger man beside a dog who looked just like Bear. The same stance. The same fire. I lost my best friend last year, the man said softly, showing the staff the picture. His name was Buck. Saved my life more than once. When I saw Bear's story, I knew he was meant to come home with me. Both of them. The staff watched as the man knelt beside the crate. Bear lifted his head, blinking at the stranger. The man didn't reach out, didn't force touch, just spoke gently. You've got a fighter's soul. And I've got a warm bed, a porch, and more treats than you'll ever need. What do you say? Luna walked over and sat beside Bear, nuzzling him as if to say, let's go. Bear stepped forward. One paw. Then another. He stopped before the man, lifted his head, and pressed it gently against the old photograph. The man smiled, and tears filled his eyes. Welcome home, son. To be continued. The sun shone gently over the countryside, casting golden light across green fields and wildflowers. A soft breeze carried the scent of pine and distant rain. And on a wooden porch nestled beside an old cabin, two dogs lay side by side. One white with a floppy ear, the other broad-shouldered, scarred but strong. Bear and Luna. They had a new home now. A forever home. The man, Jack, they now called him, sat nearby in a rocking chair, sipping tea and smiling as he watched them. You two sure earned this peace, he murmured. The porch had two bowls always full, a shaded dog bed they rarely used, and a giant backyard that stretched all the way to the woods. At night, the stars shone so brightly Bear would lay for hours just staring up at them. As if remembering. As if grateful. It wasn't always easy. Bear had days where his shoulder flared up, where he moved a little slower. But every time, Luna would be there, nudging him, walking beside him. And when Luna's leg trembled during long walks, Bear would wait, his body steadying her. Their bond, once forged in fear and fire, had become something unbreakable. One afternoon, Jack invited a local school group to visit the dogs. He knelt by the children and told them the story. This one here, he said, petting Bear, fought a rattlesnake to save her. Took the bite, nearly lost his life. But he didn't give up. And because of that, they both lived. A little girl raised her hand. Why would a dog do that? Even people are scared of snakes. Jack paused, then smiled. Because love doesn't need a reason. Loyalty doesn't ask questions. And sometimes the bravest hearts come in the quietest bodies. The children petted Luna and Bear, who soaked up the affection with calm dignity. Not fearful, not broken, but whole. That evening, as twilight settled in, Jack placed a small plaque at the edge of the garden. It read, "They were abandoned, but they never gave up. They didn't wait to be rescued, they rescued each other." As fireflies danced and the stars returned, Bear let out a soft huff and rested his head on Luna's side. She yawned, nudged his nose, and closed her eyes. They were safe. They were home. And they were proof that even in a world that forgets the forgotten, love can still fight back. Moral of the story asterisk. Even the smallest acts of loyalty and courage can change lives. When the world turns its back on you, don't give up, because someone somewhere is waiting for your strength to shine through. And sometimes the ones who save us have fur, scars, and hearts bigger than we'll ever understand.